Can we hear what you can we hear what you learned from your research? Let's say your perspective on the crypto economy before I start giving you what I have to say today. So can you just give us a summary of what you understood by the crypto economy?
Okay. Um, Good evening, everyone. So, my name is Princess Omatuli, and a quick assignment was given to us on crypto economy. So, from my research, I realized that the crypto economy is much more big than just TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and other ways people make money from posting videos. In fact, creators existed long before social media, and that is where the fundamentals behind what the creator economy is. Because our tutor was like insisting that we should ponder more on that very aspect. So the fundamentals behind the creator economy had to do with the people that were creators before the social media was invented. So now the main difference was that those people were dependent on gatekeepers such as record labels, publishers, television stations, and traditional media to reach a large audience. Because we had musicians, we had writers, we had photographers, we had artists, filmmakers, and other creative people. Now, for these people to reach out to a large audience, they have to pass through the record labels, the publishers, the television stations, and traditional media for them to get to the large audience. That is before social media came on board. Now, the internet changed everything. It changed that perspective. Today, a person with just a phone, an idea, an internet can access, can create something, can publish it, and reach out to an audience. And potential build a business around it without first needing permission from a traditional gatekeeper. That is, to me, is one of the most important foundations of creator economy. I also learned that the creator economy is not simply about having followers. It is built around several important things like creation, attention, value, audience, trust, and distribution, likewise monetization. A creator first creates something that people find useful, entertaining, educational, inspiring, or what, or relatable. That content attracts attention, and consistent value can turn that attention into an audience and eventually into trust. What I found particularly interesting is that attention itself has become valuable. There is so much content available today, but people have limited time and attention. So creators are not only competing to make content, they are competing to earn a place in people's limited attention. Once a creator has earned that attention and built trust, different economic opportunities can develop around it. For example, a creator may start by sharing free content, but later discover that their audience has a particular problem they need help solving. Now, this creator, could then create a digital product, offer a service, partner with a brand, teach a course, use affiliate marketing, or perhaps build a completely separate business. In that sense, content does not always have to be the product. Sometimes content is what attracts people to the product or business. So the biggest mindset shift I got from researching the creator economy is that content creation should not only be seen as posting online, it can be a way of creating value, building relationships, developing an audience, and eventually building an entire business around your creativity, around your knowledge, around your skills or your personality. So for me, the creator economy is really about the power that creators now have to turn into creativity, and from creativity into value, and from value into community, and community into economic opportunity. Thank you. So this is what I did my research about creator economy.
You have said everything. Now we can round up the class. That's a great one. You really did your research. Mrs. Adekoya, did you do your research also on the crypto economy? What do you have to add to what Omatule said? Mrs. Adekoya, are you sat? Is she hearing us? Abi, your network is bad. Mrs. Adekoya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
Yes,
Okay, so what do you have to add to what Omatule just said?
I can hear you. I mean, she has said most of it all. No, yes.
Okay, your
What I
proprietors
just
contacted
know
you
that I
today.
just found out that creator economy is more than the way we have been thinking it.
Okay, thank you very much. You can mute your mic now.
Eh?
I said you can mute your mic. You can mute your mic.
Okay.
All right. So Omatole has explained a lot on the creator economy. You know, when people hear the creator economy, what they usually think that the creator economy is all about posting content on social media. So maybe you post a content on TikTok, they call it a content creator. But that's not really it. Is the creator economy explains the whole ecosystem around how you move from ideation to creating content and move down that funnel, right? To revenue, right? Because the goal of creating the content is to get revenue, but there is a system that has been designed that will move you right from the ideation to the creation of the content down to the revenue, right? So this whole system is what the creator economy is about. So as usual, before we get into the part of artificial intelligence and the role that artificial intelligence has to play in the crypto economy, I will have to take you through the fundamentals as it is our culture that before I begin explaining a complex topic, I like to break it down to the precept level. That means to the fundamentals and then start building it upwards. 1 minute, please. Someone is trying to join. Let's just give us some time. Okay, so we are going to be stripping it down. We are going to be stripping it down, and we'll be attempting to understand what this whole creation economy is about. So that when you start to create content, you will not be shadow boxing and guessing, right? You'll be doing it based on knowledge, right? Because there is one thing to do something when you don't know a thing, you shadow box your way through it, and you are bound to make mistakes. But when you understand the rules and the principles and the laws that guide a particular result, it is more easier to achieve that result. So let us look at what the creator economy is about. I'm going to be sharing. I'm going to be sharing some. I'm going to be sharing a screen with you because we'll be doing a lot of talking and a lot of explaining. But before we start, let's go back to what content creation really is about. And Omatole told us that content creation did not start today. We think that content creation started today because we are seeing TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all these things. But really, content creation did start today. So if content creation did start today, then when the content creation really starts? But let's really talk about what this whole content is. When you talk about content, what they're talking about is a value that someone has. And then when you package that value, that is what you call content. So content starts first from somebody having something to offer. It might be a teacher, right, that has educational knowledge, a teacher that has knowledge to offer. That is content. A writer that has something to write to pen down in a book, that is content, right? An artist that paints something, that is still content. Or a musician that sings a song or writes down a song or releases an album, that is still content. How about a journalist or a consultant or a preacher or an inventor? So far as it has to do with bringing value out of you and putting it in a particular form, that is content, right? So content is not just limited to, if you say, if you only look at content as videos, it is a very, very limited scope and a very, very limited perspective to viewing what content is, right? But when we talk about the creator economy, how does it relate to content creation? Now, if you are saying that content did not start today, that means it started a lot of things a long while ago. But what social media did was to make the content creation game, should I say, more accessible, right? Okay, let's say for example, let's go back to the old world now. Let's say you were a teacher back in the 1980s, right? You were a teacher back in the 1980s. For you to be able to reach for you to be able to teach people or to reach students, you will have to have an institution, right? Let me share a whiteboard so that as I'm explaining, I can be writing it for you to visualize what I'm trying to say. Let me share my screen. Let me know when you can see the screen. Can you see the screen? Are you guys seeing the screen? Are you guys seeing the screen?
No, I'm not too.
Let me know when you start seeing it.
No, sir. No, sir.
Let me.
Okay, sir.
Are you seeing it now? Can you see it now? Can you see it now? Omatula, are you seeing this thing? Are you seeing the whiteboard on the screen? Please let me know when it's showing. Is it showing now? Network.
No, sir.
It's
Not
not.
yet.
It's not still showing. Ah, too bad. Okay, let me just proceed. Maybe it will. I don't know why it's not showing. Let me stop sharing and share it again.
No, I'm
Oh,
not, sir.
okay. Maybe I'm going to drop the material after now, so I guess you just have to try to visualize what I'm saying in your head. I'll try to be as descriptive as possible so that you don't have to guess your way through what I'm trying to say. All right. So now I want you to imagine. Let's say,
Oga, nothing is showing. No, nothing is showing, Oga.
oh yeah, don't worry, forget about it. Don't worry. When you still get the this. Okay, let me try one more time. Let me try one more time. Are you seeing the whiteboard now? Hello. Network is very bad though. Is it showing now?
I can't see
No,
anything,
sir.
sir.
No.
Oh yeah, let's forget about. Let's leave the whiteboard for now. If nothing is showing, I'll just explain. Right?
It's
You say what?
not be doing it then. We can go and watch it on YouTube later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You go and watch it on YouTube. Okay, so let's continue what we were
I will
saying.
suggest that you can do it then. We can watch it later on YouTube.
All right, no problem. All right, that's okay. Okay,
Yes.
so let's say
Okay, it's like it's showing now.
Okay. All right. So
Okay,
let's
just
say
talk
let's
now,
say
bro.
for example that please mute your mic. So let's say for example you were a teacher back in the 1980s, right? Or let's say the pre-internet era, and you have some form of value in you, right, to give out to people. Now, for you to be able to move from the process whereby that your value is translated to people, you would have to pass through an what you call an institution, and this institution would be what you would call a a school, right? So the school will be an institution, and what that school would do, what that school institution would do really is just to give you the platform to be able to connect with people, right? So you will need you a teacher would need an institution called a school to be able to reach out to people. Then let's say you're a musician. A musician would need a record label to be able to reach people, right? How about let's say you are a pastor and you want to do some advert, you are still going to need like a radio and a television, or a media company. Let's just put it quote unquote a media company. But what the internet era really did was that it removed the middlemen. That means the institutions were removed such that there was now no barrier between the creator and the audience. I don't know if that makes sense. So the middleman was removed. So now it is now easier for the creator, right, to be able to reach an audience easily without spending much, right, without having to pay heavily and all those things. But that was one of the great economic shifts that happened. So now a writer, for instance, is no longer limited by how many copies of books that they publish, right? They are not limited by how many copies. You know that, for example, if you want to reach 1,000 people, you need to print at least 1,000 books, right? But nowadays, now you don't have to do that. All you just need to do is create a PDF or create something, and then through that one thing, you can share it to millions of people, and it doesn't cost more. It doesn't cost more from you. It doesn't. There is no financial cost on your end. So this is one of the greatest things that the great economic shift brought. That now created the access that enabled people to be able to create more and to express their creativity more, right? So let's move down to defining who it actually is a creator. Now, the reason why we are going through this part is because I want to lay the foundation for you to understand. I want you to see this content creation thing as a game first and as an art. Because when you understand what you are dealing with, it is easier to work your way through it. Before I now start teaching you how to create the videos and how to create the images and how to do all other sort of things, you first of all need to understand why it is necessary and how you can position yourself. Because if I teach you that and you don't know what to do with it, you can just imagine you know how to create videos, but you don't really know why you should or what kind of video you should create. That knowledge is really of no relevance to you. So let's define who a creator really is. Who is a creator? Is a creator really somebody that posts on Instagram? Because that's what we define when we talk about a creator. People say if you start posting on Instagram, they call you a creator. You start posting on Facebook or maybe you post on YouTube, they call you a creator. But that is really a very, very narrow description of a creator. So what I would define a creator as is someone who consistently transforms something that they possess into something that other people can consume. That is what a creator is. So whether it is music, whether it is a video, whether it is an art, whatever it is, so far as you can translate that thing, right, that you possess into something that people can consume, you are automatically a creator, right? So that thing can be knowledge. If it is knowledge, if you are sharing knowledge like what I'm sharing to you, this is content that I'm giving to you, right? I am a creator. If it is entertainment, like the people who come out to crack jokes, our comedians and the rest, they are creators. Insight, experience, commentary, education, storytelling, art, even if it's just your skill, whatever it is, so far as it has to do with bringing value and packaging that value and giving it to people, right? You are a creator. So, therefore, the basis and the foundation of content creation is value. don't ever forget this, that the basis for content creation, when you look at the content creation um funnel, right, or the system, it starts with value. That means that before you even open that Instagram account, before you start posting, before you even start thinking of what you want to post, the first thing where to start from is not even what you should post. You should start from what do you really have to offer. That's where you have to start from. You have to start from the level of value. That means you have to believe, you have to have something that you feel like people need. You don't have to have it all figured out, but at least you need to know what you want to give and in what form that you want to give that thing. So a doctor that is making educational content or educational videos is a creator. A programmer that is teaching coding is a creator. A comedian, right, that is coming out to crack his jokes is a creator. A filmmaker that is showing his artwork or his skills is a creator. So far as you have something important to give, is that is content, right? So the content is not just limited to videos or your reels, right? It's not just limited to that. Like I explained, I have to keep saying this thing over and over again because I want it to stick before I move into the next layer of what I'm trying to explain. So a 30-second reel is a content. A 2-hour podcast is a content. So far as you are removing value from you and packaging it in a form, it is content. How about a tweet that somebody tweets right on Twitter? That is still content. A course that you package and you sell online or you sell offline is still content. If a book is a content, a documentary is a content, a newsletter is a content, a workshop is a content, right? Even an event that you host, like a live event that you host for people to come and join, it is still content. Why? Because there is some value that you are packaging and you'll be giving to people during that course of the event. So I want you to expand your mindset, and during the course of this teaching, I want you to really, for now, just forget everything that you've known about content creation for now, right? Because we are going to be breaking everything down and then we'll now reconstruct it back upwards, right? So now, having defined all these things, right? Having defined all these things, so having this defined all these things, then we can now successfully say that a content is like a vehicle that you use to transfer value, right? Let me say it again. A content is like a vehicle that you use to transfer value. So you have some knowledge in you, or you have some um whatever it is that you have to share, right? Whether it's your creative skills or your painting skills, whatever it is, right? The way that you translate that thing out from yourself to for other people to be able to view and to appreciate that work, the vehicle that you use to translate that is what you call content. So content is really a vehicle for transferring value for people to be able to relate with it. Because let's say for example that you have a wonderful perspective on a particular issue that you want to share. Mommy, let's say that you have a particular issue that you want to share, and you are not and you don't share it. Let's say you keep it in you. How are we going to know? There is no way for us to know what you are thinking. There's no way for us to know the ideas that you have in your head, right? Unless you translate it out. And that process of translating it out is where the content comes in, because it is through content that we use to know what was in your head already, right? So content is the vehicle for transferring value, right? So let's say, for example, that you know something, I don't know that thing, right? But when you explain it and I understand it, then you've transferred value to me through what? Through content creation. So this is really what content creation is at the most basic level. So at this point now, let's look at the creator economy. Now we can define creator economy. So what is the creator economy? The creator economy is the economic system built around individuals creating, distributing, and monetizing content, knowledge, influence, community, creativity, and digital products directly to audience, right? So that whole system that is built around how you create your content, how you distribute it, how you use it to gain revenue, the whole ecosystem around that whole process is what the creator economy is about. A lot of people don't understand how these things work. That's why some people can go online and then they start posting. People tell you just post a lot of videos, and so you start posting, just post, but you don't really know what you are doing. You are just posting, and then another person will come and say, "Don't worry, just one post, you will blow up." And then you keep expecting that, okay, one day I will blow, and then another person will come and advise you and say, okay, if you want to, if you want to do this, just adjust one setting in your TikTok or adjust one setting in your IG, and then you will blow up. All those things are just they're just concepts. They are not something that you can bank on, right? But the person who understands the content creation game knows how to make money. A lot of people feel like, okay, that when it comes to monetization, now I'm going ahead of myself, but I just want to lay some foundation. Now, when it comes to monetization in content, some people feel like you have to wait until you have a lot of followers before you can get monetized, and this and that. And then some people feel like, okay, you need to run ads. Some people, like a lot of people, have different concepts as to how you can make money, right? On social media or through your content. But there is a systemized approach to it. But because you have not studied it and you've not taken your time to understand it, you may really think that it is one or two ways. That is the only way that you can make money on social media with your content. But there are diverse ways, which I'm going to be teaching you through the process of this course that we are taking. So I just defined the creator economy for you, and then I wanted to say something. Now, remember when I defined, I said that the creator economy is the economic system built around individuals that are creating, distributing, and monetizing content, right? I did not say influencers. Don't get this wrong. I did not say influencers, because influencers are just a segment and a niche of the creator economy. The creator economy is not built around influencers. Influencers is just like another niche, right? And when I explain, when you go down the ladder, you are going to understand where they fit in, and you understand why influencers are able to make money and what they do to make money, and how you can, if that's what you want, and how you can position yourself to earn in that aspect, right? So let us move on. So I told you that when social media came and when the network era came, what it really did was that it removed the middlemen, right? Remember I said that I removed the middlemen, such that one boy from the village somewhere can decide that, oh, I have some creativity in me, right? It does not need to depend on a TV station to come and talk about him, or a radio station to come, or maybe let's say you are even into music. You don't have to wait for one record label to sign you, right? You can just go online, and just by understanding how the whole content creation thing works, you can start putting out value, and people can load you. Like, it connects you directly to the audience without the middleman, without the record label, without the distribution channel. So this is how I want you to see TikTok. This is how I want you to see every social media. Now, think like a businessman. When you think like, when you look at the content creation thing like a business, you are going to see TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube as just distribution channels, right? They are the distribution channels at which you use to put out your value for people to see. Why? Because those channels, those distribution channels, a they have a lot of people on it. You know that when you study basic economics, right? There is demand and there is supply, right? So if you have something to sell, for example, you have to go to the marketplace. Do you get? You have to go to the marketplace to be able to go and offer that value. Imagine, let's say you have a wonderful shoe, and you go out and stand on an empty street and you are shouting, this shoe is fine, this shoe is this. Will anybody buy from you? No, not because that product is not nice, but simply because the products that you are offering, you have a good product, right? But your positioning is wrong. Why? Because you are in the wrong environment, right? So what television stations used to do was that television stations did not need to have content themselves. All they just owned was the distribution line. That means they own access to audience, they own access to the people. So anytime you wanted to reach people in their masses, right? Because you are limited and you don't have that distribution channel, you have to go to a television station or a radio station to be able to advertise your business or to put out your value or whatever thing it is. But you needed them because they were the one that had direct access to the people in masses. If you want to reach millions of people, you have to go to a radio station, you have to pay, right, per time. Now, when social media came, what social media came was they brought in a lot of people, right? A lot of people signed up to their page. So now they became the distribution channel. So you don't have to go to that television channel and television station again to be able to reach audience. You can literally reach an audience just by, you can just wake up and then you post a picture or you post a content, and then that content is like you and your audience, right? So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, these are just distribution channels to which you use to distribute your content for people, for your audience to be able to see. This is how you should look at it, right? So moving on. So moving on, that means that right now you can, there are people that have, there are people that, there are musicians that have blown just by putting out their content online. They did not sign up with a record label, right? They didn't go through all those things. They just by understanding what they did, they put out their content and they had all access to the people. The people love the music and then they vibe with it, and then that's how they blew off, right? So now that you've understood this point, let us move. Let us move a bit now. Um, Now, there's something that I want you to understand. I want to move on to something. Okay, so let us talk about how this whole, when you talk about content creation, right? How does a creator move from novice, like let's say you just pop up on social media, what are the principles behind content creation that guarantees that with time, if you follow those principles, you are definitely going to excel? What do you need? What are the things that you need to know about content creation, right, that will help you to move from where you have value to where you can start earning from that value that you have, right? So let's talk about something that I call the second shift, which I call attention move. Now, the whole content creation thing, the whole marketing thing, the whole sales thing, making money first starts with, now after you have value, let's start from, remember I said that for you to, when you want to start creating content, it starts from the level of value. That means you must have something to offer. Now, after you have after you've discovered this value that you have, the next thing is to package that your value. This is where the content, this is now the level two. So from value, when you package your value, it becomes content. But that is not enough. The fact that you package your value is not guaranteed that you are going to make revenue from that value. So now you move to the third stage, which is using, like, packaging that your value in such a way that you gain attention, which is really what this is. And when you understand this phase, it makes the other phase very, very easy for you. So you have to package that your content that you now have in a way that it attracts attention, because this whole thing is just an attention game. You see people do things on social media just to get attention. You may think that they don't know what they're doing. Some of them know what they are doing. It is directly engineered because they know what they are doing. Because first of all, before somebody can know what you have to offer, right, you have to be able to get the attention. If you come out and you stand on the streets and you are shouting and nobody's listening to you, is it of use to you, right? So you have to find a way to make people leave what they are doing, right, and turn and look at you, for you to be able to show them what you have and see if they'll be interested in it. This is where things like, when you scroll on social media, people are talking about how to create content, how to do, when they talk about hook, right, how to structure your content, what they're just trying to say is how to package this content in a way that people that you can gain people's attention. Because if you don't understand the art, the psychology of attention, what makes people stop to listen to your content, or what makes people stand by or leave what they are doing, right? Because everybody is just scrolling, right? So for somebody to stop and listen to what you have to say, you must understand the psychology to make sure that they don't scroll past that your content and they listen to what you have to say, right? So the third stage is now the side of gaining attention. But it doesn't end at gaining attention, because the fact that you've gained someone's attention does not mean that they are going to exchange their money with you for, or buy your service or buy your goods, right? So when you move from value, remember now, value to your value becomes content. And then when you put your content, the goal is now to gain attention through that content that you have. Now, from when you now gain the attention, the next step is now trust. Trust. Trust is very, very trust. Without trust, see, have you seen? I know you've seen people online that you see their content, but if they post something or they talk about the product, you're not going to buy from them. Not because their videos are not nice or it's not great, but there is something that you don't have for them, which is trust. And when trust is missing, money cannot be exchanged. Right? I'm just giving you this in overview. I'm still going to go deep in it. I'm going to give you a handout at the end, and we're going to come back next week, Thursday. We are going to discuss everything that I just listed out detailedly, and I'm going to be showing you how to structure your videos detailedly so that when we start teaching how to now do the content, right? When you are doing content, you will know what you are doing, and when you eventually want to take your business online, you will not be guessing what to do, right? You will know what to do to get attention. You know how to package your content. You know how to build trust, right? So after building trust, you don't stop at just building trust. Now, after building trust, you will now move from building trust to having a community. Now, why is a community important? Because it's not just enough to gain attention. Now, have you ever seen creators with like 500,000 followers? A creator can have 500,000 followers. Another person can have just 20,000 followers. But the one that has 20,000 followers can be making more money than the one that has 500,000 followers. Why? Because if that 500,000 followers came from people that let's say maybe you just posted one content and it went viral. That's why you should not even chase virality. Don't be too obsessed about going viral once. Just go viral, because going viral does not, in fact, if I come to your, let's say you post one content and you go viral. Let's say you had 5 million views and it's just from the first content. If I come to your page and I want to buy from you, I will not buy from you. Why? Because you've not proven consistency. I need to see that you've been posting. I need to see how consistent you've been for you to be able to earn my trust. So virality alone cannot earn trust, but consistency over time in building your contents. I come today, I know that you post today. Tomorrow I come, I know you post, or at least I know that you post every time a week and you are showing up. It will be easier for me to trust you than somebody who posted 2 content and then blew and then started advertising something. So I was talking about how is it possible that somebody can have 500,000 followers and that person has just 20,000 followers. Yet the person that has 20,000 followers is earning even more than the person that has 500,000 followers. So now imagine that, let's say for example, the person that has 500,000 followers now, he posted one video and then the video made, let's say the video did 20 million views, and then that is how the 500,000 followers came. It was from different people scattered here. They just like the content that he posted. They don't really know this guy. They've not built some form of intimacy. They've not connected with this creator. Nowadays, people need to connect with you to even buy from you, right? So they've not connected with this person. If that person decides to post something, or a company runs an ad with that person, people will not trust that person enough to want to buy from it. But going back to this creator that has just 20,000 followers now, let's say for example that person started building that page 3 years ago, has always shown up every week. Let's say the person is even in tech and is always talking about tech, is always showing up about tech. That person is more likely to attract like minds. This is one thing about content creation. You are going to attract like minds. That's why you should never judge yourself by your first 50 content. Like even your first 100 contents now is just you trying to build your identity, build your personal brand for people to understand what you want, what you have, right? The value that you have, who you are. So when somebody comes to your page and scroll and scroll and scroll, by combining all the kind of content that you've posted, they can tell who you really are, right? So the person that was consistent in posting, let's say he was posting 3 videos every week consistently for 2 years, like he must have built a community of people that understand him, that flow with him, that anticipate his videos, people that connect with what he's doing. So if that person comes out today and talks about the product, you are going to buy from that person. Why? Because there is trust. And this trust did not just come from thin air. This trust came from the fact that you've seen this person continuously post. You've seen the value that he has to offer, that this guy really has content, right? You've seen his consistency. You've seen his output also, right? And you've connected with this guy. Maybe you're even in his community. So it is very, very important to note all these things. Then when you now move, now I've mentioned that it starts from value. From value, you move to, oh, Network. Oh. Hello. Sorry, my network went off. Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me? All
Yes,
right.
I can hear you, sir.
All right. So when we talk about the creator economy, you must understand something, right? I hope that you are getting everything that I'm saying. I hope that I'm making sense. So when we talk about the creator economy, we are really talking about a trust economy, right? Because the creator economy is a trust economy. Don't ever forget this when you are creating your content. Why I need to teach you this is because a lot of you are going to start, building your businesses on social media very, very soon. And I don't want a thing that maybe you post one content, after posting 10 content, you start feeling bad. No, that should never happen. You should look at it like a long-term game where you are putting out yourself. So you move from having value first. When you have the value, when you package that value becomes content, and then you put out the content to gain attention, right? But it doesn't stop at just gaining attention. The attention has to move to trust. And how does attention move to trust? It when you can consistently, now this is how you differentiate content creators from what I would call contentpreneurs, like people who understand the art of content creation. When you can consistently, right? When you can consistently put out content that people engage in, right? Over and over to the extent that you know what to say and you know what to do for your content to do well, then you've started mastering the art of content creation. That's how you know that you are beginning to get good in this thing, right? Because you know that when you start something, at first when you start something, it's usually luck. Right? When you do it and you do it and you do it, you begin to master it such that you know just what to do to get the result that you want, right? So you move from value, from having a value to packaging the value, which becomes a content, to using that content to gain attention, and then turning that attention to trust, and then turning that trust into a community of people who just believe in you and believe in what you do. Once people trust you and those people connect with you, you can be sure that anything when you start wanting to sell to those people, you can be sure that those people are definitely going to buy from you. If you think I'm lying, go and open a social media account today. Immediately you open it, boost your account to 10,000 followers. Just post, even if you want to post 20 content, just put out 20 content in that day. Then set up a post and tell people to come and buy from you. Let's see if they will come and buy. No matter how much they love you, nobody will come and pay for, right? Because why? There is no trust. So you must understand. So that means that if I've been putting out content for a while, and then let's say you attempt to sell a course to your people, or you advertise a product, right, to your audience, and they are not buying, don't panic. All you just need to do is go back to this content system that I just gave you. If people are not buying, then you can diagnose that the problem is that they do not trust you, right? That means you've not yet connected with them. If you have up to 20,000 followers, you post a product and they're not buying from you, just be rest assured that those people, that is what is missing. They do not trust you enough to want to commit their money to you, right? They don't trust you enough. It's not hard science. So that means you can enter a creator's page on TikTok or on IG, and then you can look at what is going on, and then you can diagnose, right? Let's say you go to a creator's. Let me ask this question: if you go to a creator's page and the creator has 1 million followers, and then when he makes a post, he has just 2 likes on that post, what is the problem? Who can attempt through what I've just discussed? How can you diagnose that is the problem? Somebody has 1 million followers, but after making a post, he has just maybe, let's even say he has just 20 likes from 1 million followers. So you have just 20 likes. What is the problem? Who can diagnose what could possibly be the problem in this situation?
Um, maybe the content that he was posting wasn't what people liked. That's one. And he was just focused on maybe the followers and the subscribers, perhaps.
Okay, another person. Brosas, we never hear your voice today. Oh. Brosas, so okay, I don't think it's so I wanted to get to how content creators monetize before the end of today, but I think you're already reaching 9. Do you people should we stop at 9? Do you people want us to extend to 9:30 so that we can cover up this so that when we come next week we can get into the practicals? What do people think? Please over to the house. Let me know. Should we push to 9:30 or should we just end it by 9 and then continue next week?
And we should push it to 9:39. It's better off.
Is it the opinion of the house? Do you hear blessing? What do you have to say?
They are not saying anything.
And
You
Jeremiah.
can push it to 9:30.
All right. So this is what will happen
Okay.
if let's say the call goes off because it usually goes off after an hour. I'm going to create another link and paste it on the group, and then you use the link to join the class back. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. So
Yes.
Yes.
all right. So talking about so don't ever forget this. Anyway, I'm going to give you a handout to be able to understand what this is about. So when you get to the part whereby people now trust your content, right? When people are having trust in your content, then you are getting close. When people start trusting, people start commenting, right? When you post, there are people that will always come back to you. That means you started forming a community. Then you are getting close to revenue because eventually, when you now give a product, right, and when you now have something to offer, people will be there that will buy that product, right? Because this whole thing is about generating revenue at the end of the day. If you study your big creators, and I want you to study, and I think we will have to actually do a kind of session where we'll just study different content creators. So we'll be studying the mechanism and then try to see the patterns that are similar. Remember, we spoke about patterns, right? The patterns that are similar with how most of them were able to grow because it is not a mystery, right? Something that somebody has done over and over and again cannot be a mystery. Everything is a mystery until you know how it works, right? And if you study, let's say which popular content, I think there was a content creator recently that did some program. Okay, let's even use this guy. There's this popular guy, Aquaman, right? That guy has been posting content for a while, and then after a while, he started gaining attention. That's where some people stop. When they start getting attention, they think that that's all. But that guy is very, very smart. That guy didn't stop at just getting attention. Do you know what he began to do? He began to build trust, right? By doing what? By connecting with the people. He started doing touring. When a new content creator is touring around, he's not just doing it because he's looking for what to do or because he has blown. No, that is how you bond with people. That is how you create bonds with people. So by the time he starts bonding with people, it forms what it's more like a family bond, but it's like an online family bond, right? So after he has done this for like 1 year, touring around, bonding with people, taking pictures, people don't just seem like another creator on the internet. There is a trust that they've had for this person through bonding. So that guy in the next 2 years, if he continues in that momentum, when he posts something or if he decides to sell something, or let's say he decides to say, oh, I'm starting an academy, you already have people that are going to sign up for that academy, right? But that thing did not happen by luck. It happened because he understood how the whole content creation thing works. So let's look at how content creators monetize, right? let's get to the money part. Let's look at how do content creators really monetize their content. Do you know what? Let's hang up. Let me create another link and then post so that we'll now join back. Okay. So I'm going to post it on the group like right now. So I'm going to hang up and I'll post the link so we'll all join back. Okay, so let's continue and briefly discuss how content creators make money. You did that, but with this volume for the talk. Okay, so 1 minute, please. All right. So I'm going to be. Let me explain how content creators make money and the reason behind why they are able to make money in that form, right? Usually, what are the ways that you think that content creators make money? And Blessing, do you want to try? Just name any ways that you know, any way you feel like okay, this is how content creators make money. Can you try? Blessing.
They can make money through paid advertisement.
Okay, advertisement. That is one. Omatule, do you want to try? So he has mentioned advertisement.
They can make money through deals, endorsement deals,
Okay,
and when their page is also monetized,
okay,
and when they are influencing a brand or a
okay. Influencing
product.
for a brand. Okay, all right. So let's demystify it now. So Blessing mentioned the first one. You said that they can make money through advertisement. Now, what is advertisement? Advertisement is simply somebody paying you to be able to access the audience that you control, right? So if you say you are going to a radio house to advertise, what you are simply doing is that you are paying them to be able to access the audience that they control. That means the mass of people that listen to that radio station. That is what you are doing. So if as a content creator, now, if you as a content creator, you want to make money through adverts, first of all, that means you must have had an audience, people that really listen to you, people that are loyal to you, such that when you say something, they listen to you. So for you to be able to earn money as from advertisements as a content creation as a content creator rather, that means you must have had an audience. So that means this one is not for new. We can agree now that this advertisement is not for new content creators, like people who are just starting it, right? Because first of all, you do not have an audience, you do not have a community, you don't have people that trust you. And so, in other words, you cannot sell. People won't even come to you because you don't even have views and followers and the rest, right? So, advertisement is one of it. But for advertisement, you need to have an audience because in this case, people are paying to access your audience, right? Let's say, for example, Tunde Ednot, for example, the reason why he's able to make money through advert, and it can only make money. That is like one of the major ways that he makes money, right? Through adverts. Why? Because a lot of people come to his page, right? So if he advertises something, because there are different caliber of people that come to his page, he has a large audience. So when you advertise something, there is probability that it might get to the right person that that the audience that the company is trying to find. But people like Tunde Ednot, why it's the difficulty in using it for advert is that they do not have a specified audience, right? They do not have a specified audience. That means that when they post, their post is like when you go to the sea and then you throw in net, like you just spread net, you scatter it everywhere. That's how his own is. So if for me, let's say for example, I want to advertise something in tech for tech users, I'm not going to use Tunde Ednot, right? I'm going to find somebody who has niched down to tech proper. Okay, if let's say for example, I want to advertise a cooking class, I would rather advertise a cooking class with Hilda Bassi than with Tunde Ednot, right? But if I want to advertise a house that is for sale, I would likely advertise it with Tunde Ednot as opposed to Hilda Bassi. Do you know why? Because at that point, Tunde Ednot has different calibers of people, different ages, different culture, and different economic brackets coming to his page, right? So it is more likely to that you make sales advertising with him. So for advertisement to work, the creator must have an audience. Remember this. There must be an audience. There must be an audience. Sorry, 1 minute, please. Let me send the link to somebody. Sorry, 1 minute. Let me send the link out. Oh my God. Okay, thank you. Blessing. All right. So for you to be able to make money through adverts as a contentpreneur, that's the word that I coined, you need to have an audience. So if you are just starting out in content creation, that means that this side is ruled out for you because that one will only happen later when you build an audience, right? So write it down. Now, the first one is advertisement, but advertisement is not the only way. Now, this is where influencers go. I almost forgot. This is where influencers fall in, right? Because when you pay an influencer to advertise for you, what are you really doing? You are just giving that person money to access the audience that they control, right? So an influencer is just somebody who has built, it comes from the word influence. That means they have built a strong community online such that people are influenced by what they say and what they do. So they can come out, someone like Very Dark Man, you can call him an influencer. Why? Because a lot of people listen to him and they trust him. So if he even comes out to advertise something, that thing is going to have massive sales, just that he doesn't do adverts, right? So influencer is just somebody who has the ability to influence people to take an action. And for you to influence people, that means you already have the people. That means you have an audience. I think I've over-explained this particular point. So let's move down to the second way that contentpreneurs make money. And the second one is sponsorship. Now, what is sponsorship? Sponsorship is like a company paying you to integrate their product into your content, right? So they pay you to integrate your product into your content. Let's say, for example, that you are a creator that talks about, let's say you do video editing, right? You make movies, you make videos, right? This thing can come to you and say, okay, we just built this editing app and we want you to help us to market it to your audience, right? You're going to position it like this is the app that you use, or this is the software that you use to create viral content so that people can buy. Or let's say, for example, that you're a crypto trader or maybe you're a forex trader. A brand might come to you and tell you that, oh, we want you to market our app like this is the app that you use to trade, and that's why you make money, right? Right. But for this thing to work, you need to have your positioning needs to be you need to have the kind of audience that the company is looking for. But either ways, you must also have an audience. So this one is still really not for new creators, right? Because first you must have an audience, right? And then that your audience must be niche down. That means your audience is not everybody. You have a niche. Then the company can now come to you and say, okay, let's say you do fashion. A company can come and advertise their clothes through you because you do fashion, right? A tech company will not come to you that you are doing fashion, like because you do not have the audience. An audience is just people who are attracted to you based on your personality. So if you're somebody that likes fashion, there's a probability that your audience is filled with people that loves fashion. If you like tech, your audience are people that love tech. That's just how it is. That's just the psychology behind it, right? So if tomorrow now that you are looking forward, maybe you want to advertise your company, you want to push your company forward, that you have to look for creators that are in the niche that supports what your brand is offering, right? So the first one is advertisement, and the second one is sponsorship. I hope you can be able to differentiate the difference between advertisement as a form of monetization in content creation and then sponsorship. Each of them requires that you have an audience, right? But one requires that your audience is more niche down, like is more precise, right? All right. So the third way that you can make money in content creation is by offering services, right? By offering services. For example, um let's say you are a video creator, right? You know how to create very mad reels and mad videos. You can just do them and be putting them online, right? Now, and somebody can just see a video that you did and it's nice, and they can write and say, "Oh, I love this video that you did," right? Or I love the way you spoke about this thing. I would like you to do it for me, or I want you to come and speak for me. Now, for this one, you do not need an audience, right? So, while advertisement and sponsorship is heavily dependent on having an audience, right? When it comes to offering your services, you don't really need an audience. You just need to be good at what you do and exceptional at it. Let's say you're a fashion designer and you sew one mattress and you post. Somebody can just scroll and see it. You don't need to. They won't even come and look at how many followers you have. They're just going to go ahead and buy from you, right? Because they love what you offer. So far as they trust, you don't even need full trust. You just need a certain amount of trust, right? Through your consistency for them to be able to buy from you. So this is where new creators like that people are just starting. This is where they fit in, right? So this is where you can start monetize. That means when you start your content creation game, you need to be good enough for somebody to be able to see the value that you have to offer and come to you for it. So this services is where new creators can start monetizing from by offering a service, something that they already know. Or let's say, for example, an automation. Mrs. Adekoya built an app that can summarize students' results, right? So that means that uh, schools don't actually need to schools don't actually need to go through that excessive rigor of manually calculating result. They can just key in the data and then it gives you the result. Now that is something a school might be interested in something like that, right? But how would they know if she does not put it out online? So let's say she starts putting it out online and maybe makes a video and say, "Oh, I built this app, or I designed this app, or I did this." Someone can just scroll and see that, say, "Oh, this is nice. This is a solution to one of the problems that we've been facing. Please, can you do this for us?" Right? And she can make money through that. But remember that it starts from value. That if you don't have value in the first, if you miss, you see why I define this process for you. If you miss anyone, right? If you miss anyone, it's going to affect the next one, right? Starting from value. If your value is weak, no matter how much you do your content, people will not be interested because they don't have nothing to gain, right? If your value is weak and if your value is weak, your content won't make sense. And if your content doesn't make sense, you will not gain attention. If you don't gain attention, people cannot trust you. And if people don't trust you, you cannot build a community. And if you don't have a community, you can never sell. So you see that this whole thing is like a domino effect, one resting on the other. I want you to always have this at the mark of your mind. In fact, if you understand this, you can literally go to a content creator's page and just look at it and know what's wrong with them and know what to correct. And you can, but first of all, use it for yourself first. In other words, remove the log in your eye before you see the speck in another person's eye. It's not really easy at the end of the day. But what I'm giving you like a push up, right? So let's move on to the fourth way that you can make money from content creation. The fourth way is product, right? You can make money from product. That means you can package, let's say you have expertise in a certain level, in a certain area, right? You can decide to package that. There are people that talk about different issues, right? There are people that talk about motivation, inspiration, people talk about tech, AI, right? You can decide rather to package that like a product. So you can decide to create an ebook, right? You can decide to create an ebook, or you can decide to create if not an ebook, you can decide to create like a system or a course or a template or a digital product from that body of knowledge that you have, and then people can buy. But let's now break it down to the fundamental. Now, for people to be able to buy from you, remember that they have to do what? They have to trust you, and they have to have some form of connection with you. That means they are like your community, right? Let's even not go too far. If I want to sell an AI course to you, and I tell you that this AI course is just one page, but if you read that one page, what you'll be able to do with AI, right? You are going to like I'll give you 2 weeks, you're going to make $2,000. Whether it's truth or lie. Now I'm never going to lie and deceive you like that. But I'm just saying, because of the kind of connection that me and you we both have, if somebody else from somewhere just pops up on your social media and tells you to do the same thing, do you know that you are more likely to listen to me? And the reason is not far-fetched. The reason is just because me and you, we've built a bond, right? We have a bond that we've built. We are like a community. We are like a family. So it is easy for you to believe what I say over what somebody somewhere on social media just popped up and said. You get, this is just it's not complicated. It's not rocket science. It's just basic human psychology. And I hope to break it down further next week. So I've mentioned four now. Number one is advertisement. Number two is sponsorship. Number three is services. Number four is products, right? So you package your expertise into something and then you sell it as a course, right? Let's say, for example, you do fitness. You can decide to sell a course and say, or let's say you cook, right? You're a chef. You can decide to sell your recipe. For example, Hilda Bassi. Hilda Bassi packages her expertise, her knowledge. She packages it as a a workshop of maybe 3 months or 2 months, and people sign up for it, and then they pay a lot of money to attend those courses. But the reason why Hilda Bassi is able to get people to pay for that thing is because, first of all, she had value. Remember, starting from it, she first of all have to have value. So she had value. That means she really, really understood. She really, really understood this cooking thing. But then she didn't stop there. She packaged that value into a content that she started putting out for you to see. Now, because you saw what she was offering, that content she was putting out, you understand this girl knows a lot. That thing is what brought her the attention. And then that attention that it brought did not stop there. People kept seeing the way she was posting, the consistency, and then it brought trust that this person is really, really good at what she does. And then people started bonding with her. So she now has a community of her own. So when Idabasi comes out to sell a course, it is easy for people to buy it. This is just the psychology behind this whole marketing. This is like the superficial side, the basic structural psychology on which everything is rested upon, right? On which everything is rested upon. Anything that somebody tries to tell you about how to make your content go well is based on this structure. If somebody is telling you, let me show you how to make your content do well, what they're just talking about is how to help you get attention. Attention is like the second thing on the ladder, or rather the third. After value to content, the third thing is attention, because a hook really is when you say hook, you're just trying to get someone's attention, right? Structure. You're just trying to get people. So this is the structure. If you understand this structure, nobody can come and deceive you and say jargons online and then you just believe the person, because there are a lot of people just saying things that they really do not understand. So back to what we're saying, how to monetize. You can monetize through advertisement, sponsorship, services, product. Now let's move to the next one. Now you can monetize also through membership, right? You can monetize through membership. Now, how does this work? Membership works when people pay for continued access. Let's say people pay for your community, right? Let's say you've demonstrated a high level of knowledge that people see that this guy is very, very good in this tech thing or this AI thing, and then you tell people that if you want to be in my inner circle, then pay so amount. Some people charge as much as thousands of dollars just for you to be in their inner circle because of the things that you've seen them demonstrate and the things that they promise that you will get. People will pay, right? But for you to get membership, remember, for you to get membership, people have to trust you. You need to have an audience that trusts you, right? So either ways, you must just have an audience. That you cannot do around it without having an audience, right? If you don't have an audience, you are going to be limited to the amount of options that you have to benefit. Now, there are people on social media that have understood this whole content creation thing so much that they are making money from all these things that I listed, not just one of them, every channel. So you can be wondering, this guy has just 10,000 followers. How is he able to have all this money and buy all these cars? That guy just knows something that you don't know. He knows he's not just posting content. He knows how to use the audience to his advantage. He knows how to convert it to revenue. So your attention is revenue to him. So let's move on. So now you can see that it's not just that TikTok can monetize it. That's not just the only way to make money on social media, right? That's just one of the ways. So I've mentioned I've mentioned membership. That means that people can pay to access your community exclusive content mastermind. You can have a private teaching. People can pay to attend. Like some content creators can be like, oh, we are having this master class. It's going to be a physical class, so time, so place. You pay a lot of money, or they can tell you it's a 2 days boot camp. Come there, relate with people, network with people. So you're not just even paying for the class, you're paying for to connect with other minds, right? And they can charge you so much for it. But first of all, before you can be able to attract that level of people that will be able to pay you thousands of dollars, your content, like the value that you give must be really valuable, right? So you must always ensure that whatever you're putting out is value. Don't compromise on your content, right? Because when you've started compromising from the value level, then the chain is already weak. Before it gets to the chain is already weak. So now we mentioned five, right? So what's the next one now? The next one is commerce. Yeah, you can make money through commerce. Commerce is literally buying and selling. So maybe you can have a physical product. Somebody like Lord, for example. Lord does not sell online courses, right? He's mostly into selling of his maybe physical things, like maybe power banks, the bikes that he imports, and then he also has like his own digital app that he markets and the rest. So they have an audience, but what they are doing is they're just selling a physical product. There are people like maybe most brands that, let's say for example, an electronic store will fall under this because they have a physical product to offer. An electronic store cannot sell you an ebook. You will not buy. What are you buying the ebook for? The ebook turn into an electronic? No. So this is where people that have physical businesses fall in place, and people that have, let's say you have a clothing store, they fall under this one because they have physical product. But you must remember that for you to be able to even sell the physical product, you must have an audience first. If you don't have that audience, now people that don't, let me say this now, people that don't have audience, the way they complement for it is through ads. People that don't have a lot of audience, or companies that don't have audience, the way that they complement for the audience that don't have is to run ads, right? And sometimes when you don't have an audience and you start running ads, the ads may not give you what you want. It is always better to first of all have some form of audience before you run your ads. Then the ads will now convert well. So ads is more like a way of complementing for not having the audience, right? So another way you can use to make money is through affiliates, what you call affiliate marketing, right? Which means that you can decide to talk about a product, and then let's say you talk about the product, and then anytime somebody signs up for that product or that service, you earn a commission from it, right? But for you to be able to talk about an affiliate program, that means first of all you must first of all have had an audience that people will listen to, right? Because if you're talking about a product and there's nobody listening to you, who will come and sign up? If nobody is signing up, nobody is going to, you're not going to get any money. So an affiliate also depends on your audience. And I've told you how to build audience and how to help the audience to gain your trust and attention. I think in our next class, I'm going to go in deeply, literally explaining how to move from value, like the principles of how to be valuable, how to put out your content in a valuable way, and then how to attract the audience that you want, how to retain the audience, how to make the audience to trust you, how to move from trust to a community, like create bonding, and then how to now start creating revenue through it. It's not really as easy as it sounds, right? But anybody who is dedicated enough, and you cannot, like, this era that we are in, you cannot go through, there's no how you do, you must always come back to it. And you can either wait till tomorrow when you need it and go pay somebody, or you can learn it now, because knowledge that you've learned is not wasted. So another way that you can make money is through affiliate. I've explained that. And then the next one is through events, right? So you can decide to host an event, maybe a conference, and people pay to attend, right? But in this case, you must already have had an audience that is already listening to you. Because if I just pop up and let's say I just come out on your screen, you've never seen me before, and I tell you that I have a conference, what is the conference for? why should I come? Like, do I know you from anywhere? What are we? You understand? So you must. So you see that it is really, really built on having and this content economy, this whole content creation economy, this whole thing that we're talking about is really, really built on audience. If you do not have an audience, you are going to be limited with the options as to how you make money on on the social media space, right? So and then okay, so okay, I've just mentioned events. So yeah, so uh, from next week, I think we're going to dive deep. We're going to dive deep into all this. So I want to take questions now because we have just 6 minutes left. So let's take questions. Matule, what's your question? Ask your question.
I don't have a question now, sir.
So that means you understood everything that we just said.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how many of the people are here in your group?
Um, I think it was in the previous, they just concluded
All right, so I want you to reach
call that
out.
we
Please,
did
please, please
before.
reach out to your people, the ones that are not here. I want you to reach out to them, please. I want you to reach out to them. Dear Blessing, you
All
can
right,
mute your
sir.
mic, Omatule. Blessing. So, Blessing, what did you learn from this class? I
Okay.
want to be sure that I was not talking to myself all along.
I learned about the content creation